Hey, so when you're out here doing stuff in inclement weather, it was just raining and snowing earlier today, you're going to find that finding the stuff that you need to make a fire is pretty difficult. Finding fuel to keep a fire going is a lot easier. So what I tend to do, especially when I'm hunting or I'm going to be out for a day or two or overnight, I bring a bag that's just a fire kit. I have my other bag with me, but this has dry kindling in it. I actually buy them by the bag at Lowe's for like $3. It has a lot of fat wood in it because I need to make a fire within 5 minutes and keep it going for at least 5 minutes to get other fuels burning, even if they're wet. All right. So within this bag, I have things like char cloth. I have some stormproof matches. I have a ferro rod. I have a backup lighter. I have dry kindling. I have some horseshoe fungus in case my lighter's not working. I have some dry tinder, and I got lots of fat wood. Why do I have lots of it? Well, a lot of times what we're doing is we're shaving it down. We're shaving it down into a powder, into shavings like this, because for some of us it's not easy to find out here. Like I don't have any fat wood around here right now at all. So for me, if I had to source this from the area and I found some, I'm probably going to try to conserve on it, right? Well, when I buy it from the store just for a few dollars for like a three or 4 pound bag, and I bring it with me on a day like today, it's mostly about get a fire burning hot and get it burning for a good period of time so I can get fuel burning as quickly as possible. All right. So even if my resources are wet, I have ways to prolong my fire, and it could be through things like fat wood. I'd start with powder and shavings to get the fire going, and then I would use longer sticks of fat wood to make it hotter, and that's really what I'm going after. So I reach down into my bag here. I got plenty of smaller pieces in here. Let me move some things out of the way. I have plenty of kindling, and then in the bottom of my bag I keep a healthy handful of fat wood because I want a nice hot fire. That's what it's going to take to get it going. All right. The other thing I keep in my bag is a hook and Tremel system. The reason I do that is because I'm not always by my fire set, my fire cooking set. So this system here, I can hang this off of my tripod that I make from some branches and things. And then I have a hook system that allows me to raise and lower my pot. All right. So I keep some handmade S hooks in my bag. Generally, you have a setup like this, and I can raise and lower this over the fire with my pot. And obviously I have plenty of water around, right? And that's what I'm looking for. The last element is cover. In my other bag I have a Mylar blanket. If I was planning on staying out here for any length of time, the first thing I would do, and I'll show this in another video, is I'd set my Mylar blanket up on a ridgeline upside down with the shiny part up. And I would have it high enough up off the ground to make this small fire. So if it's raining or there's snow falling or ice or whatever, I'm going to build that fire right under that Mylar tarp. It's not going to stay under there. It's just to get it going. All right. Once you get a fire going, it's pretty easy to keep it going as long as it's hot in inclement weather. But when it's raining and stuff, it's not the easiest thing in the world to get a fire going. So I would have that Mylar tarp on a ridge line staked down on the back corners, just on the back corners, upside down to get the fire going underneath. And then what I would do is pull the stakes and flip that thing so the mirrored side's down, the metal side's down, and stake it in the back real tight. And I still have my ridge line. Now my fire's in front of my shelter. All right, so I would set that small shelter up first, get under there, build my fire, get it hot, add some fuel to it, make sure it's going to stay lit. Then I'm going to flip that thing over and stake it to the ground and have my shelter that I'm going to sit under while I have my fire in front of it. The candle, a lot of times our lighters are going to fail in cold like this, but we can get a quick flame out of them. So what I generally do is I get a candle lit. This is a Yuko candle. They typically burn for about 6 or 7 hours. I like the beeswax ones, but this is the one I grabbed on my way out of the house. And what I'm going to do is have a candle going. So when I go to get this fire going, using like a lean-to method off of this log, I know that I have a long burning flame that can even light the wettest materials. And I'm just going to do a lean-to method up against the log, just getting things spaced out a bit. Then I have my fat wood shavings. I'm dumping them right on the snow. It doesn't matter. All right. And if that candle goes out, it's not a big deal because I can relight it. But generally, I want a flame that's going to last me for a bit. And I want to be able to burn some of this fat wood right on the ground here to get my fire going. Then I'm going to start taking some of this couple pieces of fat wood and lean it up against the log here, like this. And I'm going to leave some other sticks around it, like this, always leaving air spaces in between. What do we need for fire? Heat, air, and fuel, right? We got plenty of air coming in. We got the candle for heat. In case it goes out, I can take that candle and just lay it right in there just like that and keep that flame going underneath anything that's wet, right? Right now I don't need it. Then, if I found some horseshoe fungus along the way, I'm just going to set it right in my fire, right by my fire. I'll let it char, I don't care. That's going to be for my next fire, okay? And I'm going to keep this going with the dry kindling I have until I know I have a sustainable fire that's going to keep on going. And I'm just going to keep adding fuel to it. This fuel is kindling, obviously, right? We have tinder and kindling. And then we have our bigger pieces of fuel. And now once that's going like that, as you can see, for one, I have this back log that's going to, let me get down here. I got this back log here that's dead, and it's going to save some of that heat. Is the snow going to melt on it? Probably. If I get concerned about that, I just push some of it away. It's not going to be a big deal. It's a pretty hot fire with that fat wood. Now what I could do is go around and collect some dead stuff and just start building on this fire. Okay, as you can see, that fire is pretty raging with that fat wood and everything in it. So even if my fuel sources are wet, it doesn't matter because this fire is going to dry it out pretty good. Now I want to get as much dry stuff as I possibly can in there and just keep adding to it. But I could keep going like this. And if I wanted to cook or boil water or anything, which I want to do with this snow, I set my tripod up right over top of this, right? And use my Dremel system to bring it down. Now, do you need those hooks and stuff? No, but they don't take up much space in the bag and they don't weigh that much. And they're easy to make. I'll show that in another video. For right now, my only concern right now is to have a shelter up, which I have over here, and keep this fire going. That's it, all right? You should be concerned with is positioning. See this way the smoke's going, right? You ever sit around a campfire and it always seems like the smoke's coming right at you? And there's a reason for it. Air's like an eddy. It creates an eddy around you. So if I stand here, obviously smoke's blowing here. If I stand here close to it, as the wind blows, it's going to pull air around me, suck that smoke towards me, all right? So what I want to try to do is set my shelter up so the wind's blowing this way, across my fire, not this way, not that way. You might think, well, if the wind's blowing that way, I can set my shelter up over here, right? No big deal. The smoke's going to go that way. Now, actually, it'll turn around because the air coming around your shelter will pull that smoke back in on you. So what you want is, if the air's blowing this way, I want my shelter where you are, or over here where I am, okay? And if I have that mylar blanket tucked up under my shelter, or it is my shelter, it's going to reflect heat back down to me. So I can have it pretty far back here. So there's no chance of my shelter catching fire or anything like that. If you look close, the log itself is beginning to burn, right? So that's going to be reflecting a lot of heat back to me. And that's really what I want. I want that heat wall behind it I want a fire that's going to sustain. If this log was to burn in two, I want to be able to buck that log with my saw and my axe that I carry with me and drag those pieces into the fire, okay? I could even go as far as doing a Siberian log fire where I set the logs on an angle, triangle into this fire, kind of like I'd use bigger logs than this. But, there you go. Let me turn you around here so you can see. Make sure you're in the shot. Lovely camera footage, right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking these pieces of log, and I'm going to put them in my fire like this. Just hanging over the edge here. I want them to catch the tips of this more than anything. And I want these ones close together. Over the fire, I want them close together. Back here, I want them far apart, because if that fire begins to travel back here, I don't want heat build up in between these, okay? So what I want to have happen is, I want all the heat build up to be here, and as it travels back, the heat dissipates, gets colder, it gets wetter, and that stuff won't burn back here. And as the night goes on, I can keep moving them up. Now, if I use logs this big, and I have about 5 of them positioned here, well, guess what? It's going to keep on burning for me all night. All I have to do is move the logs. They're going to dry out. They will dry out. I'll say it again, they will dry out, right? So I can keep this going, and now what I have here, I have a sustainable fire. It's burning off this log. That's a great heat conductor. I got a place where I could cook my food, a place I could set my shelter by. If I have my Mylar tarp, I have that reflector coming back on the back of me. I have this Siberian log fire going on where I can continuously keep feeding wood into it throughout the night. You notice I built this fire right on top of the snow, right? Did it start? Yep. Why? Because I used resources that will make a really hot fire immediately, right? And all I'd keep on doing is moving that fire in around the fuel and make sure it's burning where I want it to burn, okay? And then I just put more fuel back in. The goal here is to keep a fire going using the resources around you, but bring resources with you. Bring a bag that's got plenty of kindling in it, that's got a nice big fistful of fat wood in it. Process it down into shavings and into powder. Use the back of your knife to get powder off the fat wood. Get a nice big pile of it. That lights really easily. Then you have the shavings, you add to that. Then you have the longer pieces, you add to that. And when you use the lean-to fire method on a big log like this, you have a sustainable fire. Then when you bring the other logs over top of that fire, you have something you can continuously feed throughout the night, all right? So I come out here about 30 minutes before dark. You can tell it's starting to get dark, right? And within 5 minutes, under 5 minutes, fire started. I'm not going to be worried about that. I notice people, Bushcraft and Fun did their fire challenge. Fantastic, because they show what it's like when you have decreased motor function in sub-zero temperatures. It'll make you hurt. It'll make you lose your confidence. It'll make you fumble over what you do. It'll make you make mistakes. So you have multiple fire methods ready for those elements, all right? Second thing is, they had hot coffee with them. That's critical. I keep a bag of coffee in my pocket, and I have my pot with me, and there's plenty of snow around here to gather water. There's a water source down over the hill if I need more, okay? Those comfort items not only warm your core temperature up, but they're going to make me feel better. If I have a fire that I can continuously keep going like this, if you notice, I used 3 fire methods here, 3 fire lays here. I used a long fire method. If I put another big log right up against there and had that fire in between, I get this long fire method. I have a Siberian log fire going, and I had a lean-to fire going, right? So I can combine these methods to create a more sustainable fire. If one method fails, I have the other ones to fall back on. Now you'll watch as this fire goes down, it will suck the water out of the ground and cause it to go out. So what we want to do is just be continuously adding materials to the base of this fire and allowing it to grow. So once these start catching like this, I might want to move these resources in to consolidate the heat to get this burning a little bit better. I might take some other sticks and I might lay them over this log like this. I might have some more going back that way like that. But I'm going to continuously manipulate this fire without putting it out to get the heat to consolidate in this one spot. Now, as you can tell, the weather's turning pretty wicked here, so I'm going to get my shelter over here. I'm going to enjoy my fire, get it burning up a bit hotter than this. I'm going to cook my dinner, and then I think I might go into the house and sleep in a warm bed. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Oh, wait, one more thing. Fire challenge winners. For the tagged winners, not for the general public, for the tagged winners, we had Survival Metal Man did a fantastic job. I love the corn liquor thing to start fires. That was one of my favorites, actually. I always say about bringing alcohol with you, good grain alcohol with you for medicinal properties, but it's also an important fire lighting source too. Fantastic job. But Country Prepper didn't submit a video, so sorry, buddy. Can't have you in the contest. Reallybigmonkey1, based upon the comments, the different methods, the level of teaching that he did throughout the whole thing, and even combating some malfunctions with his fire starting, I think it was probably one of the best fire starting tutorials I've ever seen in my life. So yesterday I shipped out the buffalo skinner to Reallybigmonkey1 David. That's on his way to him, should arrive Tuesday or Wednesday right after the New Year. So congratulations to Reallybigmonkey1. The rest of you still have time to submit your fire challenge videos by New Year's Day. I'm going to use the month of January to look through them. Then I'm going to decide who first and second place winners are. First place is the Buffalo Skinner from PKS. Second place is going to be a fire starting kit that I put together for you. And trust me, it's going to be a nice one. You're going to love it. So take care, stay warm, and enjoy your New Year's. Take care.